What's up, guys? My name is Josh. I'm out of the band called Screaming Spaceship, and kind of in my jam space right now. I've got ow. I'm hanging out up here in my jam space, and I want to show you this. I know it's in a box labeled with all sorts of Fender stuff. It's not a Fender. This is probably what I consider my first vintage guitar. And it took a lot. It took just about everything I had to not open this up off camera, because I'm really not used to opening my mail on camera. But let's go about that, and I'll see you in a minute. And it looks precisely like this. Lighter than I thought it would be, just by a little bit. And here, I'll show you what I got. Oh my goodness. This is an Ibanez Roadstar II with several issues. These guitars go for roughly about $800 to $1,000 from what I've seen. And this isn't a super common option either from what I've seen. So there's a few reasons that I got it for as cheap as I did. I picked this up for just under $400 plus shipping. And it is wildly out of tune, because of course it is. And it's got a few issues. There's a crack right here, which I didn't see this crack on the reverb listing. It's supposed to have 2 bolts through those holes right there in the back of the neck, that bolt right through to the locking nut on the front. Those are gone. What else? Oh yeah, the main reason. This guitar doesn't play in tune. And the only reason for that is it has the wrong bridge. Of course, the bridge can be intonated, but not this far. See, the actual problem is they put a Floyd Rose style bridge on it, which is not as wide as the actual Ibanez bridge is. So you can see on the bridge studs there, these cutouts should click right onto the bridge studs, basically. And click isn't necessarily the right word, but they should both fit. Neither of them will fit at the same time. So it's resting actually on these right here, which I hope you can see. Other than that, covered in dents. Probably biggest dent and chip is right there. But they're all over the back. Dent. That's a big one. Dent. Some kind of big scuff here. The absolute first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to plug it in. I'm going to see if I can get it to play at all. If I can see if I can get any sound out of it. I can't tune it. At least not much. These fine tuners are only going to do so much. And of course the nut is locked. So there's a few things I'm going to do. I'm going to get the right bridge. And I'm going to also get I think I'm going to try to get a rolling nut instead of a locking nut. Because this guitar, I don't think is really, it might be routed enough for a floating trem. It might be. I didn't think it was, but it actually might be. Either way, I'm going to block it off, so I can only dive bomb with it, and then I'm going to try to get a rolling nut instead. But that's kind of my whole plan with it. The whole reason I've ever really wanted one of these is kind of because of the Jerry Cantrell Rampage, except that's a goofy shape, and this is a lot more familiar. If you see in my last couple of videos, they are, well, I guess at the time of filming from my last couple of videos are Sunday with Ola riff challenges, So I played a Jackson and my Squire in those. Actually, this leads me to another point too, why I would want one of these Ibanez specifically. It's because it has a straight headstock instead of a tilt back headstock, which is something I very much prefer. But with this crack here, I'm really not so sure what's going on. And it actually cracks to about up here on the back of the headstock. Right about there is where that crack ends. And that's not something I noticed in the Reverb listing, but it's something that can be fixed. So I was gonna try to do as much of this work on it as I could myself, but I think I'm actually gonna have to take this into a shop, which is all good and well. I've got a couple of friends I know that work on guitars kind of a lot, and they know what they're doing, especially when it comes to the woodworking side of them. One of these guys, straight up, he even builds his own guitars, and I think I'll take it to him. Since I'm switching, or at least planning on switching from the locking style nut to a roller style nut, I do plan on plugging these holes back here, and that should help strengthen that as well. But that's kind of a real shame. The hardware is just not right for this guitar. That said, I'm going to quickly plug it into my rig, which is right behind the camera there. I'm just going to see if it makes any noise at all before we keep going on this. There's so many like weird issues with this guitar. So I'm just going to stop talking now. I just want to plug this thing in and see if it makes any noise at all. Like I said, this thing is far out of tune, probably for several reasons, including the bridge, the shoddily installed nut. I don't want to tune this thing up to tension with that crack either. So it makes noise, but it's very crackly. So it definitely works. In the process of working on everything, I'm definitely going to change this potentiometer out, because I think it has a similar issue to the one on my blue Strat there, where it crackles when you've got it up most of the way. So that said, I will see you in the next one. There's a lot to fix about this guitar, but none of it's super bad or super in-depth, so it's something I should be able to do. But I think so many things were done wrong on this instrument that we have to make it right, because this is a beautiful guitar. That said, I'm not going to fix any of the dents or repaint it. I might get some custom artwork done on it, because it's a beautiful canvas for that. But I'm not going to refinish it, you know. Anyway, like I said before, I'm done talking. And I'll leave you with this, I don't know, this L chord.